Let's call the meeting in order, please. Number 2, Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 3, adoption of the agenda.
Romano adopts the agenda.
Support Nard.
Mr. Romano, Ms. Nard, all in favor, please vote.
Brown votes yes.
Motion passes 12-0.
Comply, if you're not in favor, you don't vote.
Yeah, I guess so, something new they're coming up with, I guess.
Motion passes 12-0.
Waiting for that. Item number 4, public participation. Is there anyone here from the public that would like to speak on anything that's on the agenda? If you don't speak now, you have an opportunity of speaking at the end of our meeting on anything of your interest. Anybody from the public? No one from the public. We'll close public participation. We will go to item number 5. Item A, a grant agreement, Community Housing Network, grant construction of an 8-unit of rental housing for $1,064,701. Vicky's not here, but who is going to speak? Vicky is here.
I'll make a motion, recommend this to full board.
Support.
You want me to speak?
Yes.
I am here. Good afternoon, Commissioners. So this is a grant agreement. This project falls under our Community Development Block Grant Program. It is an agreement with the Community Housing Network to construct 8 units of rental in East Point along the Kelly-Topher border there. It is a project where we only received one RFP, so it did go through its competitive process. I do have David Rose from CHN here available if you have any specific questions to that project, but it is being funded through our home program.
Any questions from any commissioners? Commissioner?
I was just wondering what corner at Kelly and Topher it's located at?
It would be the south,
The northeast one.
the northeast
Northeast corner? Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Any commissioners? Any questions? If not, Commissioner Van Sickle?
Yes, good afternoon, Vicki. Will there be any follow-on expenses, like rental manager or property maintenance or anything else in the future?
Sure, and it's gonna be a question that I'm gonna bring up David here to specifically talk about. I know when we look at the income that does come in through this project, that, it does cover the cost of the housing, which I'm assuming maintenance is included with that, but I'll have him provide some specifics.
Hi, good afternoon. To answer your question, there will be no further ongoing expenses for the county with this. The project is designed to be self-sustaining with rent and the rental vouchers, which are being provided on a tenant-based voucher basis. So we will accept Section 8 vouchers for this project, but they will not be required to live there. It will be income qualified, and we have built the pro forma out to ensure that it is self-sustaining.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Any other commissioners? Brown?
Thank you. Who will be the, who owns the property? Who will actually own the property and receive the rents
You want to answer that, David?
from the federal government?
Community Housing Network will own the property and receive the rents. We are a 501c3 nonprofit focused on affordable housing in the Metro Detroit area.
But who actually, who's gonna build the buildings?
So,
Who's ultimately gonna profit by the ongoing operation of this? That's what I'm looking for.
so the ongoing operation of this is intended to serve the public good. So any profits generated from this will be used to support an ongoing replacement reserve for the, as units turn over and things need to be fixed, as well as any, profits that go above and beyond that would be reinvested into the community. We are an organization that believes in building and staying. So when we build a rental project, we continue to own it for the duration of the affordability period and usually beyond that. This is required to remain affordable for a minimum of 20 years, and we plan to continue operating it as affordable housing beyond that as well. If there are additional profits that go beyond what is necessary to sustain the operations of this project, we would be reinvesting those in other affordable housing efforts
And who's
elsewhere in
we
Macomb
again?
County. Community Housing Network,
Okay. It's $133,000 a unit.
yes.
So who are they going to make the checks payable to on a monthly basis?
The check, so this project will be managed by KMG Prestige Management. They're the property management contractor that we use for all of our developments. So those checks will be made out to KMG. KMG will pay us the remainder.
What percentage will they get for a management fee?
KMG's management fee on our, let's see, because this is not a tax credit deal. KMG's management fee, I believe, is 3% on this deal. We don't have a property management agreement in place for this deal yet. We have property management agreements for all of our other like operating active, and those are 5% for tax credit deals and 3% for non-tax credit deals for the most part.
For the most part. When's the last time you set up one of these arrangements?
The last time I have not personally set one up for a non-tax credit deal. The last tax credit deal we set up was last year for a project called Garfield Landing in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and that was 5% because of the LIHTC deal.
Okay. I'm just interested in this operation, how it operates internally. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good. I support the goal, so congratulations at this point. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Commissioner Sabatini.
Thank you, Chair. Just to follow up on Chair Brown's questions. So the agreement with the county is with CHN. They will be selecting the contractor to build the complex. They're also hiring KMG Prestige to manage the property. Does KMG Prestige, or I should step back really quick, how many other properties does CHN own currently?
So I believe there's 28 site rentals scattered throughout Macomb County. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's about estimate.
And same management company for all, KMG? Okay, great, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Commissioner Van Sickle.
Let Commissioner Lucido go first.
So my question is that, are they going to be multi-story, is it a multi-story units? Is it like townhouses, condominiums? You know?
Two.
Yeah, so these will be two-story buildings
Okay.
sitting right next to each other.
Yes.
The lots are currently separate, but they will be combined for this project once the option agreement is executed and we purchase the land.
And then my second question is also, I know in some other projects that you've done in the past that if you have the same people live there, I think it's like 20 years, they own it. Is that going to be the same thing in place here?
That is not part of this, the regulatory framework for this project.
Okay.
But it is something that we always consider.
Yeah.
As that 20-year affordability period ends, or 30-year or 45-year, depending on the project and the funding sources. We look at what the best option is for the people that we serve and the people who are living there. So if we reach the end of that 20 years and the families who are living there are very much enjoying where they live, and they have been uplifted by the project to give them some stability that would allow them to pursue home ownership,
Yes.
then converting them to condos and selling them to the occupants is something that we definitely would consider.
All right, perfect. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Van Sickle.
Thank you. You said that your organization's a 501c3.
Yes.
In Executive Hackle's veto of our budget, he mentioned that this board's not allowed to give money to 501c3s. Does that cover this?
I don't-
I have a question as to whether, based on Executive Hackle's objection to line items in our budget, whether this falls in the same category.
I think this is a contract for service, and I
This is a
think that'd be allowable.
Okay, we're doing a contract with you?
Yes, that's correct. We are the developer for this project, so we will
Okay.
be managing the construction, site control, all of those kinds of things, and that is what the contract is for.
Thanks for the clarification.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you, Chair.
Question, on the management fee, you say it's 3%. That seems extremely low for a management fee for a complex of this or any other.
So we have economies of scale, and that, for the record, as I mentioned, we have not negotiated the management agreement for this particular development yet, because it is not reaching the operational stage for at least 7 to 8 months. But the economies of scale that we have allow us to leverage regional management. So we have we have 2 existing multifamily developments in Macomb County that are managed by KMG Prestige, and then we have a handful of single-family rental homes as well. And because all of those are managed by the same entity, it allows us to have some economies of scale when it comes to staffing and things like that support a lower management fee.
So this projected 3% could change
Yes.
to what?
As I stated, the management fee for most of our tax credit deals is around 5%. So I could not imagine that it would go higher than that, because there's a lot of regulatory burden that goes along with the tax credit deals.
And they handle how many properties right now?
For us,
Yeah.
they handle 8 multifamily properties in the Metro Detroit area. They will also be handling 2 in Sault Ste. Marie for us as well. They are a statewide company. They manage much more than just our portfolio.
And their fees of all these other properties, they vary from location to location?
Yeah, they vary based on location and scale. To the best of my knowledge, I don't work for KMG, they work for us. But.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Brown?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Regarding the residual income or next profits that come as a result of the deal going to a fund, how much is in your fund presently? As I assume you got other deals are going, the proceeds go into a fund that's excess of what the expenses are that go into fund that you said will go back into the system, into your operation.
So
How large is that fund?
It is our intention to reinvest any profits from this that are beyond what we need to support this development back into the system, but there is not a specific fund that I can give you a number on. I'm on the development side, I'm not on the finance and accounting side, so unfortunately I can't speak to that, I'm sorry.
Was there any money invested from that fund towards this project?
Yes, we are contributing, sorry,
I didn't see that, I'm sorry.
Is it? I think, yeah, that sounds right. We're contributing $261,000 of CHN funds of our own equity into this. And that is that is sort of like the floor for our investment. If more is required as construction continues and things come up, we would not be asking any additional money from the county for that. We would be supporting that out of our own coffers.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
No other speakers? Please vote.
Thank you.
Motion passes 12-0.
Let's go to continue with number 5, department recommendations. I would like to consolidate B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, Y.
Motion to refer to full board.
Support.
You forgot Z.
Brian, number B.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. So item 5B would be a cost share agreement with Ray Township for a 28-mile road bridge. This is a 80-20 cost share, so we get 80% federal funds on the critical bridge funds that we applied for. So there's a 20% match with that, and we are looking to cost share with Ray Township for 10%, half of the 20 for the construction cost only for this portion. So seeking approval on the cost share agreement with Ray Township. Any questions?
Commissioner Brown.
Thank you. We talked about this before the meeting. I spoke with the supervisors, unsure they can afford that match money. What if they're unable to come to terms with this? What work have we done already on the project? Have we spent any money towards, if they can't come up with their share of the match? Ray Township, the commissioners, is a very rural community. And so anyway, what if they can't afford the match? What happens then?
Then we would.
This doesn't commit us. We're agreeing, we're authorizing the project, I guess, so you'd start work on it, right?
Correct. And as we broke out in a little history on the bridge program, when it comes to critical bridge funding, the ratio of funded to unfunded was 95% funded and 5% local match, which is a great program when it existed at that percentage. And we as a department paid for the 5% independent of any community that fell within Macomb County, which is a great deal for the communities. But the going rate for getting these funds now is a 80-20 share. So when we submit this as a scored submittal, so it's competitive bids, and competitive grants. So the going rate to get these projects is 80-20. And as these prices and costs have escalated, we can't sustain 20% now of bridge funds to make up that extra 15%. So we are asking the communities, whatever community the bridge falls in, to match the 10% of the 20 just for construction cost only. We would put in 100% for the preliminary engineering, the 100% for the construction engineering inspection, and then they would just be responsible for half of the construction costs, which is still a great deal. Our road projects are 20% match with these types of programs, but it's 10% of all costs when we come to road projects. So we understand there's a burden to the communities now when it comes to our bridges, and we're trying to, be less of a burden on cost, so just charging match on the construction cost, which is the brunt of the cost, but it still doesn't include PE, CE, and those types of costs, which drive up the cost even more, so.
Well, I agree with all that, and it's a good
Well, I mean,
program.
if a community can't get a state infrastructure bank loan that's spread over 10 or 15 years, we're talking just over $16,000 as far as a match. I mean, that's more than amenable to communities to be able to do that. And they have those types of programs that they could do that. And that seems to be, to me anyways, that would be more than feasible to get into a monthly payment at minimal cost.
I agree, it seems that way to us, but they also have other demands.
We've done numerous other communities with the same situation of having an issue with economics and
Well, my
budget,
question to you,
and
Brian,
we've
is
done the
not,
same.
my question is, if,
It would get shelved. and it
are
wouldn't
we
move
committed to them? I mean, I don't want to, the supervisor, I just talked to him, he's concerned about if they can't afford it, I don't want to start us on a project that going to leave them indebted to us unwillingly. So what do I do?
I guess the stress to the community would be that there's 80% federal funds that they're offered in this program, which is a great deal. And I think there's a way where there's a way for the community to come up with that $16,000 over a span of 10 or 12
It sounds
years.
like nothing to most of these other developed communities, but they got a light at 26 in Hayes that people have died at, that they can't come up with the $260,000 to put their share.
Well, that was a $100,000 share for their
100,000?
portion of the four out of the communities, the four
Okay,
communities,
all right.
which
They could come up with 100,000.
this is 16 compared to 100.
All right, I know it's cheap, but they got, I'm just saying what he's told me, and so I'm, if we just pull it, that's more money for somebody else, right? Or is that money committed up to the bridge program, and we totally lose that funding for a bridge? We couldn't just move it to another project.
I would have to check on that, but I don't think we can just switch it to another location. It have to go to the pot and then potentially be redistributed.
Could you do me a favor? Could we postpone this to next month, and then you could figure that out, and I'll get with them and make sure that that's really what they want to do? If they really want to get rid of this bridge? To give us some, because.
I mean, they don't, with our program, the way you set it up now, we don't charge anything for PE or CE. So, I mean, we could very well start the process. We hate to push this a month. We're paying 100% of all communities as far as the PE, which is the preliminary engineering design. So, I mean, we got monies 80% to fund this project. I find it very hard to believe that any community within Macomb County can't come up over a span of 10 to 12 years, a cost of $16,000. I just don't see it, Commissioner Brown.
That may be our opinion, but we don't live there. We don't run the township, so I'm just.
We worked with
Can
other
we
communities.
give it a month to make sure that we need to, so we don't,
It's at your purview, but I would recommend if we could move forward, we could.
well, I understand that, Brian, I
with the
do. I
design.
respect what you're saying, but I'd recommend that we postpone this item 1 month until we bring it back to revisit it and see what I can work out with the township, or see what they want to do. That'd be a January 23rd Public Services Committee meeting.
You making a motion to postpone that particular item, Chair?
I appreciate it, thank you.
Sell a couple of cows. I'm
Thank you.
sorry, go ahead. You're making a motion to postpone, so you need a second and.
Yes.
and a vote. All right, I'm sorry, just want to make sure we're on the same line.
I'll
We have a
second that.
motion on the floor that includes this, so I think we need to change the motion on the floor first.
Chair, if I may add, can we just send it to full board and then postpone it to full board rather than send it back to committee? That way we don't have to delay Brian and waiting.
All right, that'd be all right, we can do that too.
Maybe you can get an answer by Thursday if possible, if not.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Now Joe's got to pull back his motion.
He didn't make it, we'll just,
Go with the original motion.
okay, we'll remove the motion. I'll pull the motion, and then Joe will remove his second, so we're back to. Okay.
I guess I also want to state that this was not something that we just came up with last week or
Oh,
2 weeks ago.
I-
I mean, this was expressed to all communities a long time ago, that we were going to this program. I would say probably a year and a half or 2 years ago, that we were going to have to go to this type of program. We've been supplementing the 80/20 currently, and just can't sustain that with all the monies that we
I
have to go.
totally
So
support what you're doing, I totally.
No, I
got it.
understand.
I totally got you. I heard about it Friday, and I'm responding to my constituents. So thank you. Thank you, board.
Move back to the next easy one.
No, Commissioner Zinner, you had a
sorry.
question?
Thank you, Chair. How close, I mean, how much can they afford? What percentage can they afford out of that, do you know?
I'll speak to let them, I don't know what exactly they want to be able to afford. They asked Commissioner Perna for a loan, but he didn't want to give it to him.
Thank you, Chair.
And Joe Sabatini?
Thank you, Chair. Not trying to stir the pot.
I'm
here,
joking.
but, Brian,
glad you
I'm
said
just throwing this out there. It's certainly an idea. I don't even know if it is even a possibility, but with communities that can't find the funding, is that a possibility where the county could fund it and then have them make the payments back to us with interest?
that's what the state infrastructure bank loan is for. It's low interest loan. It was spread over a 10 to 12-year period. We are the fiduciaries of that, so actually it goes through us.
Oh, it does,
Where we
okay.
have a cost share with the community, we take out the loan, they have a cost share with us to pay that monthly fee, which would be very, very minimal on a $16,000 over 10 to 12 years. So,
Okay.
thank you, Commissioner.
We have a motion on the floor to refer. Any other discussion? Please vote.
Wait,
Mr. Chairman?
no, we
Going
covered
through the whole list and then, yeah,
Oh, see,
Go to the next one.
But there was a motion.
No, we
He
took
withdrew
it,
it.
we
I
removed.
think it was rescinded.
We didn't do them. Okay. Brian, item C.
All right, item C would be a cost share agreement with the city of Centerline. It's for 10 Mile Road reconstruction from Sherwood to Lorraine. This is once again 80/20 federal funds, 80%, 20% local match. The county share, our share would be $1,730,625. And once again, this is a full reconstruct in the city of Centerline.
Any discussion? Sure.
Thank you, Chair. Brian, this and item G, it's the same stretch of 10 mile, just broken down by Warren and Centerline, is that correct?
The section in Warren is Ryan to Sherwood.
And it's a bigger stretch, is that why the cost is more?
No, the one in Warren is a rehabilitation. It's not a full reconstruct. So it's just
okay.
a mill and fill, basically.
Okay, so that part doesn't warrant a actual total reconstruction?
No, at this time, we wanted to, that was a little piece in between, and we wanted to be able to rehabilitate it. We didn't have the funds in our federal aid committee to distribute for a full reconstruction for that entire stretch. But we thought while we're doing the reconstruction, we can get to a mill and fill and fix that part in the middle, at least
Okay.
with the mill and fill, and
Got
have
it.
funds to do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Chair.
The commissioners? If not, item D.
All right, item D would be a cost share agreement with the city of Richmond. This is for rehabilitation of 33 Mile Road from Lowe Plank to M19. County cost would be $72,594. This was presented previously, and the percentages were shown wrong as far as the cost share. I think before it showed after the federal funds were applied, it was a 75%, 25%, 75 being to the city, 25% being to the department. That is a local road, and that should have been a 60-40. We get certification, we certify that stretch of 33 mile. It is a border between the city of Richmond and Richmond Township, but we are the ones that receive the Act 51 funds for that. And being a local road, that should have been a 60-40 split with the city of Richmond, not 75-25. So this should look familiar, although the percentage had changed. So seeking approval on the revised cost share with the city of Richmond.
Discussion, if not, item E.
Item E is an agreement for professional services with Kimley-Horn of Michigan. This is a comprehensive safety action plan. So we had applied for Safe Streets for All grant opportunity for planning for the entire county. And we were successful, as well as in combination with the city of Sterling Heights, of getting a grant to put a plan together. And we went through a vetting process of RFQ. I think there were 5 firms that had submitted for this. We met and looked at the different submittals and had approached Kimley-Horn to have further discussions, and this was their proposal to put our safety action plan in place as far as moving forward. From this, we are hoping to get implementation grants to have projects under the Safe Streets for All, subsequent to submitting and completing our planning program here. So seeking approval of the agreement for professional services with Kimley-Horn of Michigan.
No discussion. Item number F.
Item F is a cost share agreement with Shelby Township. This is for a 25-mile road pedestrian bridge from Apple Lane to Heathside Drive. This is adjacent to, I believe, Eisenhower, that's on the south side, in between Van Dyke and Mound. They had proposed and gotten a TAP grant for funds to construct this pedestrian bridge. I know there were some accidents related to pedestrians. There's the school nearby, as I mentioned. So they had sought TAP grant funding, and we would be matching the $90,919 putting into that project, and that would come from our non-motorized path program that we have available for communities. So seeking approval of that cost share agreement with Shelby Township for that pedestrian bridge.
No discussion. Item G.
Item G would be another cost share agreement with the city of Warren. This is for the 10-mile rehabilitation from Ryan to Sherwood. County cost would be $2,416,721. This is a 50-50 split with city of Warren being a local agency project. Once again, we thought it would be a good idea to fix this little piece in between. We fixed one section already. This will be the sandwich piece in between what we're looking at doing as far as the full reconstruct in the city of Centerline. So seeking approval of that cost share agreement with the city of Warren.
No discussion. Item H.
Item H would be a cost share agreement with Macomb Township for a 22-mile road bridge, preventive maintenance over the middle branch of the Clinton River. This, once again, on the critical bridge funding list that we received funds for, a split of 80-20, 80% federal funds for the construction, and then the local match is the 50-50 with us in Macomb Township. So seeking approval of the cost share agreement with Macomb Township. Obviously, county costs would be $42,943.
No discussion. Item I.
Item I would be a cost share agreement with Armada Township. This is for the North Avenue Bridge preventive maintenance over the east branch of the Coon Creek. Once again, this is the same type of program with our critical bridge funding. 80% federal funds, 20% local match, and that would be a 50-50 on the construction cost only. So our cost would be $26,604 for that project with Armada Township.
No discussion. Item number J, please.
Item J would be another cost share agreement with Macomb Township. Same program, 21-mile bridge, preventive maintenance over the north branch of the Clinton River, 80-20 split as far as federal to local match. And then we would split 50-50 construction costs only for the Macomb Township portion of the project. Our cost would be $44,355.
No discussion. Item K.
Item K would be a contract with the Michigan Department of Transportation. This is for a box span signal work at various locations. We did submit and approved for funding for this at an 80-20 split, 80% federal funds, 20% match money for the department. Our cost would be $250,200 out of the total cost of $1,450,200.
Commissioner Hall.
Thank you, Chair. Brian, what exactly is a box span traffic signal study?
So typically in the past, when intersections were built with signals, the signal span that the signals hang on, the span wire would be strung diagonally across the intersection. Now we construct, for safety purposes and better visual cues, a box span the span goes perpendicular across each leg of the intersection. So it's a box span. So the spans go in a box instead of diagonally across the intersection.
And who determines where the study takes place? Is it MDOT or us?
As far as the safety process, as
Yeah.
far as being, that's nationwide, as far as the going rate basically for safer intersections. That was proven obviously through not only Macomb, but other communities nationwide, that a box span is safer configuration wise as far as visual cues for the intersection. So that's what we move forward with on all of our, either that or mast arms, and mast arms are set up the same way where the mast arm would be perpendicular to the road and not diagonal across.
So we've got a very dangerous intersection in Roseville, and we've asked MDOT to come in and review it, and they've done traffic analysis. Could that be added to this box study list?
So this is a grant program that we submit to, and that depends on pretty much the severity of the incidents that are occurring at those particular locations.
5 deaths in 5 years.
I can take down, is that a crossroad that?
696 in Groveland on the
Okay.
service drive.
So
We've
that would
approached
probably,
MDOT with that 5 years in a row.
so that, I mean, that's not our determination. We wouldn't submit that project because it doesn't fall on our system.
Okay,
So 696 is the state, and then Groveland, I'm sure it will be a city road.
thank
So
you.
that would be outside our purview, unfortunately,
Worth a try.
for sure. Thank you, Commissioner.
No other questions? Item I.
Item I, or L. L, cost share agreement with Ray Township. This would be for Wolcott Bridge.
AL.
Preventive maintenance, same thing on our critical bridge fund program, with the north branch of the Clinton River. Once again, this is at 80-20, 80% federal funds, 10% match with the construction cost only. County cost would be $17,143. Seeking approval of that cost share agreement with Ray.
Commissioner Brown.
Ditto from the last comment. We'll see about that on Thursday. Thank you.
Okay, got it.
Another question? Commissioner Van Sickle.
Thank you. Does the preventive maintenance on the bridge include the road surface, or is that just like painting the bridge structure and those kinds of things?
No, it does address some structural issues, not just aesthetics. So, yes, it'd
But
be,
the road surface on the bridge?
I believe it would address that also, yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Welcome, Commissioner.
Other commissioners? Item M.
Item M would be a cost share agreement with Washington Township. This is for the Powell Road paving from 30.5 mile road to 32 mile. This is a local agency project, so this is a local road, so the split would be 60-40, 60% township, 40% Department of Roads. Total project cost of $4,514,093. Our share would be $1,805,637. So seeking approval of the cost share with Washington Township.
Commissioners, item number N, please.
Last would be another cost share agreement. This is with Chesterfield Township. This is a request by Chesterfield to install a traffic control device at Jefferson at Hooker Street. Total install cost would be $46,000 with annual maintenance of about $2,000 approximately, therefore moving forward annually. This is a crosswalk that they had asked to be installed with beacon lights. So this would be at no cost to the county. but seeking approval of the cost share agreement with Chesterfield Township for their request.
Brian, question. Of all these projects that have been approved, how many of these are going to be completed during this 2024 year?
2024, we're looking at all of these to be completed in 2024.
No carryover to 25, they'll all be completed?
No, we don't anticipate any carryover. And you know, all our projects, we, from year to year, we don't have very many that we plan to straddle multiple years. There are some sporadically that we do have span multiple seasons. But all of our programs, we typically want to finish in one construction season. We might have some restoration or some minor type stuff to do the following year, but the major brunt of the work, we want to do in one season, obviously for traffic control purposes, and we don't want to have barrels out during the winter and barricades and stuff to try and maintain during the snow and winter operations that we have. So,
Thank you. Commissioner Romano?
you're welcome, Commissioner.
Thank you, Chair. You think I was gonna let you get away, did you?
I thought you had an appointment for now.
I'm looking at, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 different items here, and you just mentioned they are gonna be completed in 2024. How come you don't come before us, say perhaps a month before the project is started, and then go through these instead of bringing all these, and this has been done multiple times where you bring like 6 or 7 projects at one time. They're not all gonna be started at the same time, are they?
They're straddled throughout the year, Commissioner, but as a way of better scheduling our projects, we've gotten better at getting ahead of the game as far as the need to design these. Obviously, we can't design them all in 1 or 2 or 3 weeks or months. So we need to get a start on the lead time between concept of project and award of project or award of grant monies and the time we actually build it is getting longer and longer. So we have to start these projects earlier and earlier to hit the construction season in the time frame that we want to, so we can schedule better. So we're getting these out more in advance, so it gives our staff time to prepare, potentially get right away. There's a lot of things in the design phase, right away purchasing, easements, utility moves. That process from concept to finish has gotten extremely longer as the years go by.
So are you starting each project that we have, let's say we're starting project A or project B, cost share with Ray Towns, is that gonna be first and then you go down the line? Or are these just, you put them together and saying whatever time you're gonna get to each project? You understand what I'm saying? These are in alphabetical order. Is that the way you're gonna be doing the projects?
No, not in alphabetical order, Commissioner. It's whatever makes sense as far as our scheduling. Depends on what other projects might be in the area and what is scheduled accordingly throughout the year. So we're not on top of each other, sometimes in various locations.
Got it.
So
Okay, I
there's a
got
lot
it.
that goes
makes
into it.
sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, thank you, Chair. I got it.
And why we're getting them out earlier too is because when we establish a cost share, we move forward with the design and we're assured that we're getting cost participation with the communities because we are starting design work on them now. And we don't want to try and recapture that after the fact.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Romano. How about Commissioner Nard?
Hi, Brian, I meant to call you about this. I just have a quick question about the project at, are they gonna fix the, like in 10 Mile is? The reason I'm asking is because there's a senior place there. I see a lot of people crossing with, no limbs, some limbs, and they're crossing in wheelchairs. Did they include, something because they're gonna be crossing over that way?
I am unsure about Van Dyke intersection. Van Dyke intersection is the state and that was just recently done. So I gotta imagine that this reconstruct is outside of the actual intersection that was just redone not too long ago. I can check and see if there's any additional pedestrian or technology that's going in that intersection. I'm not aware of that with this project. Like I said, that would be more so probably for the state with the main trunk line of Van Dyke crossing 10 Mile there, as far as that intersection is concerned. Because that's all there right away from the spring line on 10 Mile to the spring line on 10 Mile, that's their entire intersection and the right of way of Van Dyke.
Okay, because I know we discussed this at Simplot. When somebody's in a wheelchair, so the light will stay red longer, things like that. I was just wondering if they.
I can check and see if this is a signal that we already have in RSU unit, and that's the stuff that's placed at the intersections that would actually communicate with the vehicles that pass through that intersection. So I can check and see if that's already been installed or yet to be installed at this location, Van Dyke and 10 Mile.
Commissioner
Very good.
Hall?
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Chair. Not to continue a touchy subject, but I thought I recently read that 9 Mile Road had, and maybe Commissioner Lucido knows more about this than I do, but I thought I read that we had a cost share agreement with East Point to redo 9 Mile Road, and they backed out of the cost share agreement. If that's factual, what happens then?
I can address that.
That's,
Okay, help.
It's federal funds that we got for 9 Mile Road, and they're not backing out of the agreement. The price came back above what they originally estimated the cost to be, so they're just going back to see if we can somehow cut down the cost to, continue with the project.
Thank you. You sure let Brian off the hook.
Yeah. So you're good.
I think
That's
that was your
that
guys'
is not a
project,
county road. So
Yeah,
you're all
that's-
good.
that's a local road. Thank you. I was gonna say, wait, 9 miles not ours.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Commissioner Van Sickle, do you withdraw?
Yes, I did.
Any other discussion? We're down to the end here.
We're gonna vote?
That's a good thing.
Please vote.
Brian going off again.
Motion passes 13-0.
Does he feel
Thank you, and have a happy holidays, Commissioners.
Same to you,
Merry
Brian.
Christmas, Brian.
Thank you.
Item number 6 is Macomb Work Zone Lane Closure and Construction Update, December 5, 2023. Motion to receive and file.
So moved.
Support.
Good luck, next someone.
Echo in here.
Please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
All right, item number 7, public participation. We only have one person in the audience here, and I'm not sure he's for the public or is here to speak. Anybody else in the public? Anybody else in the public? We'll close public participation, and we'll go to any commissioner who has a comment to make on this day. Commissioner Hall.
Thank you, Chair. We've been getting these emails from a certain individual criticizing the system on how the judges determine who's getting pensions and who's not, and who's convicted, who's not. Yeah, I understand that, but I want, as I have indicated before, Derek Miller is not getting a pension from Macomb County. And that was the whole dissertation in this last one, so I just thought I would clarify it again. Thank you, Chair.
Any other commissioners wish to speak on anything? If not, Commissioner Romano.
Motion to adjourn.
Support Zinner.
Please vote.